Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. This is a custom painted Predator kit by the great Joe Dunaway. Model Zone, I think is his username or what he goes by. But yeah, I'm getting back into the statue reviewing game, so to speak, and just sort of catching up, trying to showcase some of the variety in the things that I collect. There's a guy, I forget his name, I think it's like Ryu Hayabusa, and he's been so patient. He's been asking me to put some more Predator reviews, Predator pieces. So, and I feel kind of bad because I've been doing, of course, video games, being distracted by my video game hobby for so long. And then, of course, I have a lot of custom statues and Walt Disney Classics collection statues and all those type of things. And so I just haven't put one of these beautiful pieces on my YouTube channel for a while. He's just always asking, kind of all of the different videos, okay, please give me a Predator review. He wants a specific Naren. Naren is the great Predator sculptor, and this is not a Naren piece, but it is painted by Joe Dunaway, who does such incredible work in bringing out all the details of these pieces. And fear not, Ryu Hayabusa, I do have a Naren piece painted by Joe Dunaway in the works as well to show. But I figured I would start with this because this is God, I forget, because these kits are so old. I forget the name. I think it's like a super edge like line of kits. They're very, very old. They're over 20 years old. They predate Naren. And if you're looking at some of my older reviews, I give a bit more, historical context to the pieces like this. But I believe this piece is called Hunter of Darkness. Okay, this piece is called Hunter of Darkness. And again, it's sculpted by a guy named S. Hayes. And this person, was one of the great sort of, custom Predator sculptors out there before Naren, in many respects, sort of overtook him, and now is kind of the class of these types of works. And I think a lot of the inspiration for him and for Naren was the Dark Horse comic books, which really delved and built upon the mythology of the Predator species and kind of delved more into Predator versus the alien, and kind of went in more in depth, way more in depth than the kind of the frankly mediocre movies that explored this. And I think the ideas are a lot more cool. And so, these sculptors would basically run with their imagination in this sort of, universe where predators and aliens coexisted, and they would think about those interactions. Some of the most amazing pieces, it just kind of shows, again, predators and aliens fighting, or predators and aliens interacting. So in this case, this is no different. This shows our Predator, and I gotta take a look, but I think it's a P1. Yeah, I think this is actually, this is a legit P1. And so this is like a P1, original Jungle Hunter, and it shows it theoretically over the dead body of an alien. Okay. So as with all of Joe Dunaway's work, there's just something, I'm sorry to repeat myself, and every time you watch a Joe Dunaway, like a video on Joe Dunaway's piece, I always say the same thing because it's always so striking. It's like when you unwrap everything and you kind of look, there's just so much depth to the paint job that he brings to his pieces and to predators in particular. It feels, and the closest thing I can think of is it kind of feels like hyper real, right? it feels like it's more real than real. Like, you're actually, seeing the piece through this lens where everything just pops more, everything just looks better. And if you just go closer, as close as you can, before the shadow sort of messes things up, like look how close I am to this base, and yet all that detail is still there. And sometimes I can't even talk about all of the detail that's in these sculpts. So perhaps just by watching the video, you can maybe catch something that I miss. And sometimes I watch my own videos, not because I like to hear the sound of my own voice. I think that's actually kind of cringy sometimes myself. I cringe at what I say. But I just look at these videos because, with this camera so close, I can sometimes catch things that you can't really easily appreciate with the naked eye. So, here we have the jungle hunter walking. You can see the just insane amount of detail on the rock, the textures. Look at the skull that's part of the base, and look what Joe did with it. All the different washes. You can kind of see the age. Look at these two skulls, the beautiful shadowing, and then you can actually see the little bits of blood that's on the skull that makes you think that maybe it's a fresh kill. Okay, and then look at the blood. This is blood dripping from the jungle hunter himself, and again, Joe has rediscovered sort of the secret sauce of this particular paint mix that you would swear is like glowing. I don't know what sort of paint mixture he uses, but it just again looks incredible. It looks like it's I don't know how else to say it. It's like glowing green. Okay, and then obviously his strong suit, all of the not even the camouflage, just like the what is it, the predators are sort of based on reptiles, right? And so the coloration and the modeling of their skin is very reptilian, and there's like a beautiful like randomness to the speckles, and Joe of course is a master of doing that. So the base shows him again nice and rocky, the two skulls, and then of course one of the highlights is this dead alien that's just sort of on the side, and then he just super glossed the dome of this alien. It's truly stunning to feel in person, and I'm just hoping that you get a chance close up to see how beautiful that work was or is. And Joe, took a couple of days to let this properly cure before packaging and shipping it. Here again, take a look at the teeth. He didn't chrome it, of course. He didn't electroplate it, but he had chrome paint. It just looks amazing, and it's pretty awesome because you can kind of see again the green, and in this case you can see the acid blood of the alien dripping onto the rock. So phenomenal. And then of course the rest of the body, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I have to go between this guy's legs, but check this out. So look at the body. He's on the side. You can see the arms. Again, the insane amount of detail that was placed by the sculptor. All of that. This is all hand sculpted, not digital. This is over, I think, at least a 15, maybe 20-year-old piece. So just look at all of the loving work that went into the sculpt, And I think this alien is actually, I think it might be like almost like a big chap. The dome, it doesn't fit, but a lot of the detailing of the arms and stuff, that works. You can see the damage to the rib cage. So that's the alien's acidic blood. And then the blood splattering on the rock. You have the leg. And then this kind of very nice touch where you can see the hand spread eagled and outstretched, and kind of futilely grabbing the ankle of the jungle hunter. So just overall, I'm going to back up a little bit just so you can kind of get an idea, just kind of a panoramic shot of what this base is. So this is like an amazing base. You know, they don't make bases like this anymore. And I do love the base that's like part of the story. And for some of these earlier S. Hayes kits, you know, it's almost like a diorama, honestly. You know, like the base has got so much going on. It's like a diorama, but somehow it doesn't overwhelm the piece. Now, this is like a very sort of tricky thing. Like if you come up with a base that's better than the statue, that's not necessarily what you are aiming for or what you want, but somehow, you know, S. Hayes is able to create this balance where the base is complicated, but it sort of tells a story in a diorama fashion with the main piece and doesn't like overwhelm that piece. You know, like it kind of accents the statue, but doesn't overwhelm it. And that's a very sort of tricky and difficult balance to get right. And he almost always achieves that. So in any case, this is, you know, the base there. Now going back, we have so many different jungle hunters out there. But to me, this is still one of the best poses. I do not know what the deal is, honestly, with some of Prime 1's Predator pieces. I mean, first of all, they cost like literally an arm and a leg. Well, I guess I can't say literally, but figuratively like an arm and a leg. You know, is it going to be $1,000 shipping? It comes in huge boxes, super, super heavy, but they all have these odd poses. And I don't know whether it's a licensing. Is it a licensing issue? Did Prime 1 have to sign a contract where like they have to create the most awkward poses for their Predator statues? I don't know, but when I think about Jungle Hunter, this is it. You know, this is the pose I like. I like the Stan Winston original, you know, maquette from Sideshow, where, you know, he's maybe moving a little bit, but it's like still essentially museum. I like, you know, the Naren version, which I have done a review on, where he's just sort of sitting there turning. I mean, this is what I think of, you know, when I see, when I envision the Jungle Hunter. You know, I think it showcases his stuff the best. So moving on, you can see the beautiful weathering. So in this piece again, Joe is just showing all of his skill, all of what just makes a Joe Dunaway piece, right? So look at, again, the beautiful gunmetal working on the armor, a lot of shading, the detail work of the scratches and the weathering. You know, on both ends, you can obviously I'm going to go a little bit deeper in here. You can see the nice touch on the gauntlet. Again, I hope you can appreciate the fine detail. First of all, just two things. One, the fact that the sculptor, Hayes, was able to sculpt this ridiculous amount of detail at this level. I mean, this is, I don't even think, if I put my arm here, I don't even think it's 6th scale. I think 6th scale is maybe stretching it. It feels like almost 7th scale. It's supposed to be 1/6 scale. So, you know, imagine the sort of work to give you this much detail at the 1/6 scale level, and then Joe for actually bringing out all of that detail. So look at the armor pieces, really, really well done. Here's the pouch, which is one of the, maybe the little nitpick is that the pouch, and this is a little bit plain, but you know, it's accurate. What are you gonna do? Here, of course, you have the claws, some more zooming in on the metallic colors, the blade, and then just again appreciating the crocodile reptilian type of modeling, the scales almost, all of that work, the blood. Look at all that. It's just amazing. Getting up here, you can see the pre-sculpted, actually. These are the pre-sculpted quills. Normally Joe would add his own, but this is actually sculpted in. And then another different thing is that the netting is also sculpted, which is, again, sort of like an insane thing to do. This was before digital sculpting, before you did it on a computer. So he had to hand sculpt the actual netting. And he had to hand sculpt the bones of the Jungle Hunter. Whereas, modern kits by Naren or Joe will just customize, the bones are actually like, I guess, multimedia. Like, you actually hang it on there. There actually is a bone necklace. The netting is real. It's not sculpted in. So these are like basically sculpting toward the forces. Okay, so here's a bit more work. And then look at this amazing mask. Look at the eyes. He actually scopes in, the hexagonal, I don't even know what to call these things, the hexagonal lenses. He scopes that. That's insane. Look at the damage, right? I mean, I don't know what the heck is going on in the middle of that forehead. He just gets shot by what, Look at all the dreads. Again, what Naren did, kind of taken to the next level, is Naren, made individual dreads a thing. And that does add sort of a level of realism and a level of class, right? That is kind of the next evolution. So you can definitely tell the difference between an S. Hayes piece and a Naren piece. But all of these older pieces, all the dreads are just kind of sculpted in. They're not done individually. Check out the back, right on over here. And then the backpack. Here's the cannon with the hose. They actually sculpted a little hole right here. Either that or Joe just designed it, and you can actually see a little rubber tubing that connects it. You can see all of this. That's added in as well. This little hose right here. That's real. Here's another one. That's right over here. Just make sure that this guy's pretty sturdy here. Okay, that's good. Again, the collar, the undersurface, and then you have this, this mask, the biomask, and then more tubing here. So here's sort of the, the piece de resistance. This mad lad, this crazy sculptor actually sculpted a bona fide, like, predator portrait, and he did that and somehow made it like compatible with putting this biomask on top without scratching up the paint. I can't even believe he did that. Now, in order for this to happen, of course, he had to really figure things out. How you're going to sculpt the head, how you're going to make sure that the mask fits. I don't know what the deal with that is, but all of the quills are actually sculpted in, right? So you don't have to actually add it in. You can see the amazing work that Joe did with the eyes all the way down to the pupils. Of course, the mouth is going to be closed. It wouldn't fit the biomask any other way. And then, always the highlight, right, is the work. Sorry for the light. You don't have much light here. I can move it forward a little bit. But yeah, you can always just see, again, the amazing work that Joe puts in to print out all of those patterns, these little reptilian patterns of the crown. And I'm gonna go take a look here. Hopefully we're not too close. It starts blurring things up. But yeah, I mean, there you go. How crazy is that? And it's actually pretty easy, to, again, take this biomask and just sort of gently fit it on there. You don't have to snap it. There's no magnet. You don't have to force it. You just gently, literally just layers it on, and look, it just fits perfectly. Somehow it just, it just does it. I mean, to me, that really is a work of genius right there. That he was able to sculpt that and everything fit. You can take the hole and just sort of hide it into the dreads at a later time. So yeah, this is sort of like a what if, right? Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's more recent Disney Plus show, The What If. This is like, so what if the jungle hunter from the original Predator movie decided to fight an alien? And of course he comes out victorious, but he's not, he's not completely, comes through unscathed. And you see the alien dead at his feet. So there you go. The greatest hunter against the most dangerous prey. And this is a little tiny summary of that. That's the story this is telling. Again, the name of this kit is The Hunter of Darkness. I waited quite a long time for Joe to do this. And you can imagine he was pretty busy himself. And then I actually got the box months ago and just never had the time to open it up and fully appreciate it. So I'm really glad I did. I'm having more time now to do that. So I am glad that I was able to finally put this together and appreciate it for everything. As usual, Joe did a magnificent job. I have quite a few S. Hayes kits now, and I'm really lucky to get them. A lot of those are long gone, impossible to find these days. I bought a lot of them from a Predator collector of many decades who liquidated his collection. So I'm fortunate to have them, and I know that Joe enjoys painting them because he very rarely ever gets a chance to do those. These are so super rare. So just happy to be able to review this and showcase not only a sculptor who's kind of gone by the wayside. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not as much to the garage scene as I used to be. So, a lot of his work maybe he's got forgotten. And it's kind of good to put this in a way that, will never be forgotten, to showcase how great his work is. And remember, you can't appreciate the sculptor's work without the paint up. Because if that's the case, all it is just basically, beige parts or gray parts, just random arms and legs. You can't appreciate any of the insane talent that Hayes has without an equally insane talent that Joe Dunaway has with the paints to bring out all of that detail. So, it's a huge thing that, Joe Dunaway was able to build this for me, to paint this for me. And then people can actually look at this paint up and then appreciate what Hayes did. Because you can't appreciate what Hayes did without what Joe did. So there you go. Next piece will not be a Predator piece. Sorry, Ryu Hayabusa. I have that still cooking. I still need to kind of take down a piece or two, dust it off so it's not embarrassing to review it. But I have another piece that might be actually quite interesting in its own right. I think all of my collection obviously is interesting. So maybe you'll find that as well. It's going to be a blast from the past. Again, from the old garage kit days. So hopefully you will enjoy that as well. I'm just sort of going in and out, giving you different depth, showing you what this is. And this is, so small. Normally now, the class of custom statues are all huge statues, right? First quarter scale, and then we balloon to third scale, and even more ridiculously half scale. But I hope you'll agree that when you look at something like this, you will understand that this is not less than those huge pieces. It's not all about size. It's about art direction. It's about detail of the sculpt. It's about depth of painting, and all of that coming together to form this kind of perfect display piece. So this is a small one, but you don't judge by the size. Art comes in many, many different sizes, and this is as amazing a piece as anything out there that's double, triple, quadruple its size. Hunter of Darkness, sculpted by S. Hayes, Super Edge Predator, painted by the incomparable Joe Dunaway. Until next time, do take care.